We have what appears to be maybe one of the biggest lies of the century, but that's okay because that's what recruiters do, and that's what it looks like the U.S. Navy has done on one of their official pages, trying to get people to understand how much money they're going to make and how they're going to be rolling the dough if they join the U.S. military. As a lot of us know, you make a lot of money in benefits, but not in the tangible aspect of actually having money in your wallet. So let's break this down because this has gone viral across the internet and people have gotten pretty pissed off about it. On Reddit, it says, Navy trying to make it seem like we make bank in the military. And this is enlisted pay, okay? So we go through this. Average salary and benefits. For an E1 seaman recruit, they're saying $66,626. You go to E2, you're getting a $4,000 pay bonus, $70,415. You make E3, another $3,000. Man, that's like a $7,000 difference there. Then E4, not as much. That's weird. You would think that'd be different. $78,000 for E5, $84,000 for E6. I'd love to make 84 G's a year. And then lastly, $91,000 for a chief petty officer. Now, you know, a lot of people that are in the military are like, whoa, where's my paycheck at? Where is this happening? Because I've been severely underpaid. And that's where a lot of this, you have to read the fine print. You have to be able to look at what they're actually factoring in here, because that is something to note and something that is important. It says numbers shown are based on an average of salary, meaning your base pay, housing, which is your BH or housing allowance or your barracks, and then your food allowances, and that is your BAS, basic allowance for sustenance. And then you have lastly your health coverage with dependents, which is, I don't think that's a good thing to put in there, because you're saying or assuming that all these people joining are going to have a kid or a wife or something like that. So, but let's break this down a little bit. So much so people are taking the comments, LMAO 66K as an E1. Some poor souls are going to fall for this and get a rude awakening. I was an E1 at one point. And this person says, what I made $2,000 last month, LOL. And I made about $550 paycheck when I was E2. Yeah, I was not making much. I think it was like $450 or maybe $500 at that point. There really wasn't much, to be honest. No need to worry, guys. I've broken it down. So what I've looked at is the pay chart for an E1 would make $1,917. Times that by 12 months. That is $23,004. I had to include here or make a note. It doesn't include a tax that are taking it out. So that is, you know, $20,300 minus 20%. You know, a couple $1,000 off from there. Now, next, this is your BAS. Now, a lot of people understand this 370 is what I'm basing this off of, because that's about what your food allowance is. And so if you got that for 12 months, it's $4,440. Now, if you do not get that, you're going to end up eating on base only. And the weekends only serve 2 meals, which is your brunch type meal and then dinner. And then you are limited to just that, and has the same rotation of food with variability of how good it is. And I say that because we are not robots. As much as we want to say we pay for nothing, no electric, none of that stuff, that is something to factor in with that, of like, you're going to eat out sometimes. You're not always going to be on base. You're going to want to have a life outside of the military parameters of wherever you're living at. And that is something that is a choice that somebody would be giving up by joining the military. Now, health insurance. I went for one person because, like I said, most people on average are actually going to be in the military as a single person when they first come in. You can see it's kind of going by state here. It's going down. But, you know, I saw and just clipped this picture itself, the average monthly cost, annual cost. Average cost is approximately $7,000 if you round up. Now, if you were to add what they're saying with dependents and family, yeah, you could chalk this number up pretty freaking high if you wanted to try and make it look a lot better than what it actually is. But, you know, I think that's them maybe stretching the truth a little bit here to try and make it look more appealing, because, you know, if you do have a wife, kid, or whatever else, this number is going to go up significantly, where it could be almost $1,000 a month for some people, depending on who they're with and what they could pay, on top of co-pays, on top of issues of what they're going to pay for medications and things like that. So I understand what they're trying to do here, but I think it's a little bit disingenuous. And I did note here as well, most people are going to join the military in their early 20s without having to marry and without having any ailment or health issues. So like most 20-something-year-olds are not going to be worrying about having massive healthcare bills for the most part, as long as there's no acute injuries, right? They're not diabetic typically. They're not high blood pressure. They're not going to the doctor all the time. Lastly, I broke down rent, and I looked at what the average one-bedroom was in the U.S., and this was $1,876, which was a 23% increase from 2020. As you know, inflation was crazy, and so that was 1,876 times 12, give me $22,512. That is a one-bedroom, really, and that would have had to been shared with many E1s out there. So, meaning like an E1 in the Marine Corps could have 2 roommates easily. That's like 3 people in 1 bedroom. So it says not to mention the variability of mold, bugs, and field days someone would have to endure. Could we half this? Is kind of what I was questioning when I thought this out, because I was like, $11,256. Like, let's just try and be as fair as possible. And by the way, I don't know if they factored their housing for pay in regards to if you had dependents as well, because most people are not going to get housing allowance until they're E5 plus. And I didn't mention pension here, and they don't factor that in, but it would be impossible to compute here. And that's because so many different ranks, so many different issues are happening with it, where everybody's retiring at a different rank, at a different year point, that I don't think that would be a fair assessment to put onto this as well. Now, you're probably seeing, or you saw on the page here, I said that the low end was $45,700, depending on your premiums and the rent from that side, in regards to if you were to get just half of the housing allowance, which also doesn't include water, electric, trash, all that kind of stuff. Now, on the high end, it's $56,956. And, I looked at, it's still not $66,000, but, I tried to be as fair as possible liquidating this. I tried to be as fair as possible to try and say, are they totally false advertising or are they not? It's a little off the mark in the reality perspective here, and that's my thought process, because a lot of people joining are not going to see $56,000. That's just what it is, and they're going to devalue what they get from the chow hall, what they're getting from the base housing situation in the barracks. So that is my thought process, as people are going to degrade those qualities, and even healthcare as well. But this is where I get to you guys. Do you guys think that this is a level of false advertising? Do you think that this is actually not a true factor, even though I've kind of broken this down and you could kind of see where they got those numbers? What do you think about that? And do you think that this is disingenuous, as I do? Just let me know down in the comments below. If you guys have questions or you guys like video topics like this, hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.